You ever have one of those nights where everything you thought you knew about the world just unravels, and suddenly, you're not sure if you're the joke or the punchline? Yeah, well, let me tell you about the night my life changed. Sitting under that sputtering oil lamp at Murphy's saloon, cards in my hand, smoke thick enough to chew, and half the town pressing in so close you'd think they could smell my luck turning. The funny part? All I wanted was enough money for a fresh horse. I never figured I'd leave with something. Or someone that would make me question everything about right, wrong, and what it means to belong. Picture this: Ezekiel Zeke Merriweather, that's me. The guy who could calm a wild Mustang just by looking at it, sitting across from Cyrus Crenshaw, Bitter Creek's resident snake, sharp suit, sharper tongue. A man who'd turn his own mother into a deed transfer if the price was right. I'd been up all night, steady hands, honest face, my mother's legacy, you know? And somehow the pile of chips in front of me was bigger than any payout I'd seen working cattle. Crenshaw, he's sweating, can't bluff for beans when his luck runs dry. And when he finally runs out of cash, what's he do? Pulls the cruelest stunt I've ever seen. Offers up a human being, says, "I got a colored gal down in San Antonio, sharp as a tack. Worth more than what's in that pot." The room cracks up, all elbows and ugly laughter. And suddenly, I'm the guy with every eye on him. The weight of their expectations sitting on my chest like a stone. You ever feel that? Like you're standing in a room full of people and somehow more alone than you've ever been? I wanted to walk. But walking meant losing face, losing respect, maybe losing what little place I had in Bitter Creek. So I played the last hand. Couldn't look Crenshaw in the eye, but I won. And that's how. The next morning, I found myself waiting at the depot, hat low, hands shaking, praying the world might just swallow me up. The stagecoach rolled in, and out stepped Tessa Jameson, dignity straight as an arrow, eyes sharp as glass, not at all the stereotype those saloon fools expected. She looked at me like she was measuring the weather, and for a second, I felt about 2 feet tall. "I suppose you're my new circumstances," she said, soft but steady. And let me tell you, it hurt worse than any slap. We walked through town, folks staring holes clean through us, Mrs. Henderson whispering behind her hand, cowboys from the Lazy J snickering, children peeking around skirts, small-town poison, you know? Sheriff Coughlin just watched, arms crossed, waiting to see if I'd start trouble or solve it. The cabin I led her to wasn't much. 2 rooms. Tidy, with more books than most folks cared to read. I offered her the back room. She noticed the Bible on the table, asked if I could read. I said, "Some, my mother made sure of that." And she nodded, said she'd had to fight harder for her schooling, words heavy with things we didn't talk about. The days that followed, I'd be out working the ranches, feeling the sting of every sideways glance, the rumors spreading faster than prairie fire. Tessa kept to herself, but even her short trips to town were an ordeal. Shopkeepers refusing to look her in the eye, children throwing stones, parents smiling at their cruelty. Folks acted like she was invisible until she became an inconvenience. Ain't that always the way? My own work got harder, too. Jokes turned mean, old friends grew distant. And the foreman started handing me the worst jobs. Yeah, sometimes standing up means standing alone. But here's the twist nobody saw coming. One afternoon, I came home to find Tessa tending my mare, who'd been limping bad, looked like she was headed for the end. Tessa had that horse's hoof up, stone dug out, some kind of herbal poultice wrapped around it, and within days, the mare was walking like new. I asked where she'd learned it, and she just said, "A good doctor taught me. Animals, people, not so different when it comes to healing." Folks started talking, but not all of it was good. Some respected what she'd done. Others, especially Crenshaw, got even meaner, bitter that his little joke had turned into something he couldn't control. And then the real trouble hit. Outbreak, children feverish and dying, whole families barricading their doors, the town doctor down with the sickness himself. Sheriff came to my door, desperate, pride forgotten, and begged for help. "Heard tell your woman knows medicine," he said, eyes flicking to Tessa, hope and shame all mixed up. Tessa didn't hesitate, asked for water, salt, sugar, clean cloth. The church became our makeshift hospital, and as Tessa worked, I saw her for who she really was. Not a burden, not a pawn, but a healer. Trained in secret by a doctor who'd believed knowledge should go where it's needed, not just where it's allowed. The days turned into a blur. Me running supplies, organizing the sick. Tessa working herself to the bone, her hands saving child after child. Even Coughlin, the sheriff, changed, helped carry water, respected her orders, saw her not as a problem, but a solution. Some folks stayed away, too proud or too scared. But as the sick got better, the doubters got fewer. Of course, Crenshaw wasn't done. He showed up at the church, slinging poison words, trying to turn folks against us. You sure she's saving lives, not just delaying death? Convenient. This sickness coming just when she needed to prove herself. For a moment, the old prejudice flickered in the crowd, but then Mrs. Patterson, whose son Tessa had saved, spoke up, and one by one, others joined. You know what I mean? Sometimes gratitude is louder than hate. But I couldn't shake the feeling something was off. The disease, cholera, Tessa called it, didn't spread right, popped up in different homes at the same time. No shared well, no logical connection. I asked around, found out 3 families, all first hit, had received charity blankets, left anonymously. The handwriting on the delivery slip, well, it matched Crenshaw's, and suddenly, it all made a terrible kind of sense. He'd started the outbreak himself, hoping to clear out the town, buy up land on the cheap, and sell when the railroad came through. I confronted him outside the saloon, evidence in hand, and he laughed, bitter and drunk, said, "You think I wanted to rot in this backwater? I had plans, and she ruined them." That night, he ran. But not for good. Came back with a gang of armed men, tried to flip the whole story, call Tessa a witch, accuse us of bringing the sickness. It all came down to a standoff in the street, his guns versus our truth. Sheriff Coughlin stood tall, called out Crenshaw, showed the evidence, and the townspeople, parents holding healthy children, folks whose lives had been saved, stood with us. Even Crenshaw's hired guns saw the writing on the wall, and when the sheriff made the arrest, there was no shot fired. Just the sound of Bitter Creek turning a page. After that, everything changed. The church became a clinic, Tessa its doctor, me her right hand, and, eventually, the new deputy. The town started healing in ways no one had thought possible. Folks learning from Tessa, women picking up medical skills, children playing together without seeing color, at least for a while. The poker games at Murphy's still happened, but the cruel jokes were gone, replaced by real conversation. The town that once tried to break us learned what it meant to come together. Not in spite of the hardship, but because of it. And yet, as the sunsets turned the sky gold and families gathered for the first integrated harvest festival, a part of me wondered, was it the crisis that changed us, or just the chance to see each other clearly for the first time? Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe all that counts is what you do when the chips are down and who you choose to stand with. You tell me, where's the line between justice and mercy, between fate and choice? Would you have made the same call I did, or would you have walked away? If you've got thoughts on right, wrong, or how a community really changes, don't hold back. Drop your comments below. Share your stories. And let's see if anyone else out there has ever found happiness in the most unexpected, unlikely place.